Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Ice Emerald. I'm a holistic fitness coach. In this video, we're going to be talking about how your blood sugar could be impacting your hormones. And we're going to talk about some simple lifestyle habits that you probably heard before, that you probably heard a million times, and how these can significantly impact your blood sugar, your hormones, and then how you feel and show up in your day-to-day. Now, do you have a hormonal condition or maybe some symptoms of hormonal problems? Maybe your mood's off, maybe you're anxious all the time, maybe you're a little depressed but don't know particularly why. Maybe your energy is low, like you feel like you just need coffee to make it through your day, or you feel like you just need a whole bunch of naps. Various aches and pains in your body, and maybe you're trying to lose weight, but nothing seems to be budging. So all of these could be potential hormonal issues, but these are just symptoms that we're talking about. So you might have an actual hormonal condition, like you might have an actual diagnosis, but right here we're talking about the symptoms. And these symptoms are just your body telling you that there's something off. And a lot of the times, if we address the root of the issue, and this is just going to be talking about one of the roots of the issue, this can significantly have an impact on your blood sugar, your hormones, and how you feel and show up in your day-to-day. Now, what is blood sugar? And I know a lot of us only think of blood sugar as in terms of diabetes. Like we don't care about it because this only impacts people with diabetes. But what about these people with diabetes years and years and years and years before they had diabetes? They had to start off somewhere, right? And these conditions, like a lot of these conditions, so diabetes being one of them, but maybe Alzheimer's, a lot of these chronic conditions, these all started years and years and years ago, starting with our habits. And one of the things that we need to be concerned about, or just need to be aware of, it doesn't need to be something that we're stressing all day long. It just needs to be something that we're aware of, is our blood sugar. Now, what is our blood sugar? So our blood sugar, or our blood glucose, is the energy that our body gets. So our body's primary source of energy is glucose. We get this glucose from carbohydrates. So carbs are not bad, they are our friend. We need carbohydrates. These carbohydrates are our primary source of energy. These are particularly important for our brain, which controls everything in our body, our muscles, which is particularly important if you are working out in the gym, and just goes to help everything else in our body. So our glucose, our blood glucose from carbs, is our body's primary source of energy. Carbs are energy. Energy is great, but we do want to be mindful of our energy. Now, how does this work? So anytime that we eat some type of carbohydrate, so we eat something, goes into our belly, we digest it, and then it goes into our blood. So from our blood, it goes to various different organs in our body. So maybe it just goes to our muscle, maybe it goes to our brain, or maybe other areas in our body. So from there, it's going to go to various areas in our body. If we don't need that energy right away, so maybe we're doing something that's a little bit more sedentary, doesn't require much effort, that glucose is just going to be stored away with the hormone called insulin. So whenever we eat something and we're not going to use that glucose, we're not going to use that energy right away, something called insulin is going to be released, and it makes our body store this glucose, store this blood sugar in our liver and in our muscles. Now, if we're not going to store it away, maybe we're going to use it. So it's going to go to maybe our muscle, maybe our brain, and what it does from there, this energy that we got from food goes to our muscle, so our muscle can make energy out of it so it could do its functions. Now, when does this become a problem? When we do too much, because a lot of us, we just do too much, especially in terms of eating. So if we're eating carbohydrates in excess, we're going to talk about fat in a few because fat could be a part of this as well. When we consume carbohydrates in excess, and that tends to be the thing that happens the most. A lot of us have a carb-rich, fat-rich diet too, but a carb-rich diet because that's what's most easily available. So like when you go to something that's a little bit quicker, you're gonna find foods that are higher in carbohydrates, but also foods that are higher in fat as well. Now, carbs are not bad, fat is not bad, but it's all about the context. So we're gonna be talking about the context right here. So if we're consuming carbohydrates in excess, so we're consuming a very carb-rich meal, and like I said, this is energy. But if we're consuming too much energy, what does our body do with it? So yeah, we can store it, but you can only store so much. So if we're consuming too much energy and we're not using it and we can't store it away, so it bogs down our most basic makeup. So it bogs down all of these little cells in our body that go to make up our organs, that go to produce our function of what we're doing in our day-to-day. So all of our cells are bogged down with too much energy. So it slows it down. So when our cells are slowed down, it can't produce energy efficiently. On top of that, when our cells are slowed down and can't produce energy efficiently, it's going to cause damage. So we have damage to these little cells in various areas of our body. And with this damage and them being bogged down, it can cause inflammation as well. So we have cells that can't produce energy that are being damaged and being inflamed in various areas of our body. So it could be our muscles, it could be our internal organs, it could also be our brain. So this is what's going on at the deepest layer. So we are talking about blood sugar, that is our body's primary source of energy, affecting our most basic makeup. What else can happen is if we're consuming so much of this extra energy, yes, it's bogging down our cells. Yes, it's causing that damage. Yes, it's causing that inflammation. But a lot of these carbohydrates can just be converted and stored as fat. So this fat can be actual fat in our body, but can also slow down the function of our cells, making this worse. And this could be further compounded if you're having a diet high in carbohydrates, high in fat. So you're getting extra fat into your body, you're getting extra carbohydrates into your body, and it's just giving your body too much energy that your body doesn't know what to do with, so it stores it in excess, and it causes this widespread damage. This is the problem because it is affecting everywhere. Everywhere in your body is getting blood. Your brain, your internal organs, your muscles, everything in your body is getting blood. And if we're getting excess energy to all of these areas in your body, you're getting this damage to all of these areas in your body, inflammation to all of these areas in your body, this could be a big part of the symptoms that you're experiencing. And I want to help you just with simple lifestyle techniques address the root of the issue, but there's still more. When we consume these carbohydrates in excess, we're going to get a big blood sugar spike. So our blood sugar is going to spike really quickly. And that insulin, it's going to work to try to store it away. So it's going to do the best of its ability to store it away. So maybe we do store it. So our blood sugar crashes really quickly. And then we're hungry again, like we have no energy. So we grab something really quick again. So it spikes really quickly. And then that insulin tries to do the job that it's supposed to because we have all this glucose in here. So it tries to store it away really quickly, so it drops really quickly. And because these spikes are so big, like the insulin's not going to do its job efficiently. So you're not going to have sustained energy throughout the day. You have these big spikes and dips. And that's a problem in itself because you have these periods where you have a ton of energy followed by periods where you have this crash, which is unsustainable to make it throughout the day. But while this is happening, you're getting a stress response when you have this spike in your blood sugar and then you have this dip in your body. So your body doesn't feel safe in its own skin because we have all this energy in here causing damage. And then followed by this period where we have no energy in there, causing us to have no energy to complete all of our daily functions. And long term, if this persists, which a lot of the times it does, I have this chronically elevated blood sugar with this chronically elevated insulin. So we keep consuming this glucose and our insulin keeps going up to try to help our body store it. But because we keep consuming so much, this insulin can't work as efficiently. So our body produces more and more. And this is what's called insulin resistance. Our body keeps producing this insulin, but it's not working to do the job that it's supposed to, which is to store this insulin away. So we have high blood sugar and high insulin. And when we have high insulin and high blood sugar, one, that's a stress response. But two, this insulin can increase testosterone. And this insulin resistance and this increase in testosterone, a lot of the times this is at the root of PCOS, which is one of the leading causes of infertility in this country. I say all of this to say, just be aware. So you understand why. Like you're able to understand all the things that are going on inside of you. When you're able to understand the why, you're more likely to take action in the things that you need to do to take care of your body and health. So that is the purpose of this. I want you to be able to take care of your body and health with things that you've probably heard before, but you might have brushed off just because you didn't know the impacts on your health. Number one, eat more vegetables. Like duh, they say this all the time, but vegetables are amazing for us. One, they have so many micronutrients for us, which are vital for everything that's going on in our body. We need vegetables. They're great. But also, these vegetables, some more than others, have more fiber. And this fiber is gold. So what this fiber does is it coats our digestive lining so that this glucose is absorbed into our blood a little bit more slowly. So we get a sustained energy release throughout the day as opposed to this really quick spike. So just add in more veggies to your meals, and particularly eat them first or eat most of them first in your meal. And some vegetables are higher in carbohydrates, lower in fiber. Some vegetables are lower in carbohydrates and higher in fiber. You want to particularly pick the ones that are higher in fiber, lower in carbohydrates, because things like potatoes, those are typically lower in fiber, higher in carbohydrates, which will have the opposite effect. So lots of leafy greens. I think beans are an amazing one to add in. They are higher in carbohydrates as well, but they have so much fiber. Broccoli, asparagus, anything green I think is amazing. If you have digestive issues, try to cook your vegetables just in case. It might make your belly a little bit angry, but try to add in more veggies into your meal. Realistically, for breakfast, I know a lot of us don't like to eat veggies for breakfast. I'm a little weirdo that does. What you can do is also just have fruits that are higher in fiber as well. One of my favorite things to add into breakfast is blueberries, just because they have a good amount of fiber in it. As well as I like microgreens as well, just because they have like a milder taste and I can kind of hide them with my eggs. Number 2, protein. And this is all the rage. They keep telling you to eat more and more protein, probably to build muscle. But this also has an impact on your blood sugar as well. Yes, the protein is going to go to help you build muscle, which we're going to talk about in a second, has a good impact on your blood sugar. But this protein is going to help keep you fuller longer, and it's going to help slow the digestion of this glucose into your body so that you have more a sustained energy release. And I'm going to combine these two. Make sure you're eating breakfast. Make sure you're trying to get in some fiber and protein for breakfast. This is really good to start the day. Number 3, try to get in more movement after your meals. So if you get more movement after your meals, your body's going to be able to use that glucose. So if you just had a meal, particularly a carb-rich meal, try to move after. What that's going to do is just going to help your body just use that glucose. And number 4, build muscle, but balance it with recovery. And if you're here, you're probably already building muscle, but this muscle also has a tremendous impact on our blood sugar, because one of the most insulin sensitive organs in our body is muscle. So the more muscle you have, the more glucose your body is able to store. And I really, really do want to point this out, because I know even like a lot of gym girls that are building muscle right now, they still struggle with PCOS. One of the major factors in this is, yes, maybe you're getting in the protein, maybe you are getting in the vegetables, but if our stress is constantly high, if we're not balancing out our building muscle with recovery, if we're in this go, go, go state all the time, what that's going to do, our body is never going to chance to feel safe and heal. So we need to give our body a little bit more recovery. So if you are dealing with any of these symptoms, your body is able to recover better. 2, if we are in this go, go, go state all the time, if we're constantly pushing it in the gym, that is going to elevate our stress hormones. And the stress hormones, you probably heard about it because it's all over social media. The stress hormones, cortisol, if we have these chronically elevated stress hormones, that makes our blood sugar higher. So if we're constantly stressed out all the time, if we're constantly pushing it in the gym all the time, and we're not balancing out with recovery, our body doesn't feel safe, and we're generating more stress hormones, which has the opposite effect on our blood sugar. Now, I know that was a lot of information. I hope you learned something about your beautiful body. If you have any questions for me, please comment below. If you're interested in working with me in any capacity, I will link that somewhere in the show notes. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Bye.